this episode on Alt Block Daily, where you learn every single day. It's been a while since we dropped our last video. Pardon for that. And on this video, we're going to be talking about technical analysis with regards to cryptocurrency assets. So the most famous or the highest ranking crypto asset is Bitcoin. So I'll start my description from there. And as you know, this website is coinmarketcap.com. You can always find coinmarketcap.com on your browser. It's a very popular web interface for crypto researchers. It has all the information you need to know about crypto assets. So the first thing I need to do when analyzing an asset technically, it's basically chart reading. It's just reading the price action and interpreting data from that particular price action, interpreting the data and trying to give a futuristic outlook on what the next price action would be, maybe in the short term or in the long term. Basically, it's easier to predict price over the long term than to predict price over the short term. But looking at Bitcoin technical chart, it looks quite on a higher range from the previous bullish markets. So I would have to go to our trusty trading view. That's the next or the most famous technical analysis platform. If you don't know about trading view, thank you for being a part of this video, because I guess you're going to be introduced to trading view. So trading view is used to track markets, do your technical analysis. So it's going to be easier to see the chart, and I can explain to you better what I see and what the market could do in the coming future from my point of view. And maybe you can take a hint from my eyes and help you learn also. So basically, this is quite a chart. We're looking at it. If you come here, this is like the monthly time frame. If you look right here, there are various time frames to look at the price action from. We'll have from 1 second down to a month. But basically, they are very key price points where you look at the price action depending on the outlook you are going for. If you're looking at it on the monthly time frame, it simply means that each candlestick pattern. These are all terms that I don't know. I guess if you are a beginner, you might not really get it. This is not the video for that, but it's just an introduction basically. Moving forward, we're going to touch deeply on it. Just how I look at the market basically. So these are all candlesticks. Each of these candlesticks represents a month in the market, a month of price activity. So within this candlestick, you can have let's see, this is what month is this? This is December. You can have about 31 daily candles. When you say daily candles, you come here, you hit on the daily. Or should I say you can have 4 weekly candles. So let's hit this one now. So which means if you count about 4 weekly candles on what's much, we're looking at December, right? Yeah, exactly December. So if you count about 4 weekly candles, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. See, December ended around here, just these 4 weekly candles. So that's just the point I'm trying to put across. But this is like 2020, exactly December of 2020. So yeah, that's just basically it. So you can see like the price action is showing us is interpreting differently on different time frames. When we're looking at it from the monthly, I can categorically say that this was looking quite like an M formation, basically, to the downside. I can use this arrow to just show you what I mean. It had a bullish push up, and then price met with a bit of resistance where you see it's retested, and there are a few tools that we have, some Fibonacci tools. Fibonacci is a very good, Fibonacci retracement is a very good tool to have or to understand how to use, basically, because it's like a natural occurring phenomenon, so you can't really dispute nature, so to say. And basically there's a zone within the Fibonacci that we call the golden zone, golden ratio, so to say, around 0.5 to 0.618. But basically it's this 0.618 that is the gold spot. So this zone, we've seen this zone, and we saw that the market pushed up and it retested on this zone, and there was a good buyout on the market, which is quite good. It's a good sign. But the same resistance again, we still meant that the market was resisted again. It just had like a false breakout and it was resisted again, and it came back to retest the same zone. So looking at it, this simply means this zone is quite weak. This zone is quite weak, and you can see there are about 3 red candles already, 3 very strong bearish candles. When the candle is red, it means it's a bearish signal. When the candle is green, it means it was a bullish push, basically. And this, you can see the candle stick, this doji that was printed here. It's quite a dangerous candle, but this is like the crypto market mostly. They derive joy in disobeying candlestick patterns and whatnot. So now we'll move on to the weekly. If you see on the weekly now, it looks much more simple, because after it retested here, you can see there was a big rush on this retest and it spiked up. So we might range around here. We might just test this. Depends on how it plays around this zone. Depends on what exactly happens around that zone, Depends on what really happens around this zone. That's what will tell us where the market is going to, basically. Because this still looks strong. This still looks quite rangy. We can still play around this range, or we can just simply drop. Like, we can just, like crypto, it's depend, but there are a whole lot of things that would need to happen, like a whole lot of fundamentals that would need to happen for the price of Bitcoin to drop this low, which basically it still tells down to, like, it's a natural occurring phenomenon. Like, if the price drops down this low, it's still not bad. We're still looking at it on a higher time frame. So I'm just coming from a higher time frame, and then we'll move down to the lower time frames, and then we'll just see what I'm able to interpret from the chart patterns I'm seeing. So basically, you can see, why do I say there's a possibility that it comes down here? Because if we're looking at it from this chart pattern, the chart pattern that was printed here from the previous bull run, it's more like, for me, I'm seeing like quite a squeaky W formation, so to say, because it looks like a pretty crazy W formation. Only crypto markets print such type of formations. So you see, it's squeaky, but you can still interpret something from it. So basically, for a W formation, there's always a tendency for the market to either retest here, the previous breakout, this is the most recent breakout, which is around this spot, breaks out from here, or it goes down to test the neckline of the W, or it goes down to touch. These are just possible points the price could touch on the long term, but these are just speculations. Or now, there was an alt live that we talked about speculation and investing. You should go and watch that video. I think you would understand what I'm trying to do here. I'm just speculating on price points so I can make decisions whenever the market approaches these places. Even if the price comes down here, this is even a very, very good point because it's still bullish. Because a W formation is a bullish formation. It's still very, very bullish. And if it's bullish in that sense, it means it can come, although there will be a huge resistance here. But finally we break out because it's quite bullish. It's Bitcoin, it's cryptocurrency. It has a future. So, but that notwithstanding, I've told you. So now let's move down up to, now this is for the weekly, and which applies mostly for the monthly, because monthly even looks much more bearish than even the weekly. So now let's go to the daily. Then let's get a bit of an understanding of what's happening. On the daily, it looks more like a channel. It's following dailies. It looks quite bearish because right here you see it looks like a head and shoulder. It looks quite bearish. I don't see anything that's telling me, because this is quite bearish. Okay, so I'll just show you why it feels so. These are just patterns that I've studied for some time, and when I see them I just try to recognize them, because these things, they can sneak up on you, but these are just to get like a speculative point of view, so I can have a read on the market whenever these things happen, or whenever I see the market acting that way. So you can see, I don't know if you've studied chart candlestick patterns or chart formations, you must have come across head and shoulder. So basically it means if it breaks this neckline, there's a flood. And remember, wow, there's a possibility price could get to around 19-20k for Bitcoin. It's going to be crazy. So that's just something. These are just technical. I'm just giving technical analysis. Below this video I'm going to give a link to a PDF file where you can read up on candlestick patterns and get a brief understanding on technical analysis. So when we go down to the 4 hours, we're now looking at short term, more of a short term squeeze, like what's happening in the short term. So I'll just delete most of these things I did in the short term. Maybe these are for traders, Short term still looks, this was just like a V recovery. So there may be like a range, but I'm just seeing it, just the possibility, because this resistance is quite tough. So there could be something like this that could happen. Just a pop back. So pop. And from here anything could happen, Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Now this is from a bearish point of view. I'm trying to see a much more bullish perspective. Let me see. It's quite hard to see bullish perspective in this type of market right now. Right now this is quite rangy. It looks like a range at this point. Speculation. I'm just speculating. So basically this is technical analysis. Technical analysis is about speculation based on your experience, how much you've seen the market and how much read you have on the market, and the tools that you have been able to master around looking at the market and whatnot. So basically that's looking at it from the monthly down to the daily. So that's just an introduction basically to looking at Bitcoin on trading view, looking at it on CoinMarketCap, and giving a speculative technical analysis. So guys, if the price gets down to around $20,000, do not hesitate buying Bitcoin at that price. It's going to be crazy. From this technical analysis, it's going to be crazy. But still, anything could happen. If we're looking at it from the weekly, it looks rangy. So there's a possibility that this is over. Like there's no way price is coming here, because if you look at the amount of rejection that this zone has created. Now I'm giving you another point of view. Let's look at this zone. There was a lot of pushback. When price came here, price was pushed up to higher prices. When price came here, price was brought up to higher prices. And now price is coming here again. There's a possibility it could be we check this price again, and then we range. I'm just seeing a range at this point. This is another perspective. At this point, I'm seeing a range. It's very hard to see a bullish market at this point. Very hard. Can't really see a bullish market at this point. I'm just seeing a range at this point. Because right here, let's take a look. Let's go to the past and see what happened. Okay, let's see. In the past, I'm guessing it's going to be happening on the daily. The daily would show us a much clearer picture. Yeah. So on the daily, what happened? So there was the same thing. There was like a pop, a test on this. There was like that rejection that was seen now. You see, guys? It was like that rejection that was seen. So that time we had this, and then popped, false break, we hit again. Then we came down, we broke, we came back up, and then this was the final break. Around this zone. My zones are quite poor, guys. Don't mind me. I'm doing this for the beginners, just to get a fresh look. I'm not like a professional. I'm just doing this based on my experience and how I've seen the market behave. So basically, yeah, this was the point where the price broke, and when it broke, it was like a free fall, guys. It was like a free fall. Came down to, this is how many percent down. Let's see. From that point, it did like a 57%. Oh shit. And then there was more. There was like a first 57%. There was like a first, let's see. There's like a first 57, okay, 56 thereabout percent, and then it recovered a bit. These are all traders. These are traders market, basically. These things that happen right here. Okay, and then total from that particular break. Total. We're going to calculate the total because it gave us like a poor in that zone. So let's see, total market fell around 77% thereabout. So you saw that it came down, then it did some bearish range before it finally dropped. But the market was quite weak at this stage. So let's see it. And then this is the most recent one. This is the most recent one. Will the market hold? This is the most recent one. So although we're seeing the similar pattern, so let's see if we're going to be seeing like a 56 or 55%. Ooh la la, okay. See a 55% to take us around 15,000. Took us to around 15,000. So this is the neck region that we're talking about. Looking at that 15,000. Is that neck region? But if we, this is like what's it called, a good case scenario, which is like the best scenario I see so far. The market going below that, I don't really see it, because the market is much more stronger than it was back here. Right now, there's a whole lot of adoption in this space, and that's why I feel like the market might not actually break this down. But if it does break it, then we're looking at this zone, like this range here, which I'm not sure it might go this low. There might be a recovery from around here. So this range is what we're watching, and this is like the most scary part. But if we're successful around playing with this, if this support holds, at least it holds for some time. Then we're looking at a break to the upper side, because that means we're going to see like a nice range here, and it's going to be like a long wait, guys. We're going to see like a nice range here. So at this point, it's like a trader's market basically. So investors, hold on to your hearts. If your skin is already in the game, just when you're bleeding, don't worry, be patient. But if you're smart enough to at least diversify, then I'm sure you're doing well. So basically, this is just how I look at the market technically. And then maybe in future videos, we're going to talk about like fundamental outlooks and analysis and whatnot. So it's just like an introduction on my point of view, basically, on my technical approach to the cryptocurrency market. And if you learned anything, if there's anything I said that maybe you have questions around, feel free to connect with me, and also leave us a DM. And guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video if it gave you value, and see you next time. Yeah.